A lot of the discussion over the past 48 hours has been the statement by the presidency that 441 members of the SANDF has been deployed to the parliamentary surroundings over the State of the Nation period to help the South African police, or to assist rather the South African police with law and order operations. And to discuss that issue with me is the political principal of the SANDF, Minister of Defence Nosiviwe Mapisa-Nqakula. Minister, a lot has been made over this deployment of these military personnel. What is your take on it? You've obviously been consulted, and do you think that the concern has any warrant?
No, actually it's not warranted. It's not justified at all. I think that there are people there who are pushing a narrative that this government should lose confidence of the people, that people should be paranoid, people should really believe that this is now a military state. There's nothing wrong in what the president said, which is that the South African National Defence Force will deploy at the request of the police. Of course, we deploy at the request of the police because there has been a request made. But I think one thing we need to do, year in, year out, you've seen the soldiers. You've seen them here on parade, but you've also seen them outside of the parliamentary precinct on the road, securing the road. There's nothing wrong with that. But somebody, for some reason, has been mischievous and suggests that the soldiers will now be maintaining law and order. The people who have a responsibility to maintain law and order in South Africa, it is the South African Police Service. And of course, we come in only when they have requested us to do, in support of their operations, as the second line of defense of the Republic of South Africa. We do that. Now, I think that the suggestion that as the African National Congress-led government, after all the freedoms which we have fought for, now suddenly we are taking away those freedoms from South African people. It is not true. We are the ones who made sure that in the Bill of Rights of the Republic of South Africa, which informs what is contained in the constitutions, people will have a right to express themselves, people have a right to demonstrate, people have a right to associate. And for us, that's neither here nor there. But what is important, though, which we should not lose sight of as we are engaging on this matter, is that it is the responsibility of South Africans to ensure that there is law and order in South Africa. It is the responsibility of South Africans that they ensure that our people are not gullible, people are not fed with information which is incorrect, people are not lied to, people are not misled into believing that the government which we put together in 1994, which we voted for, is no more the same as the one we voted for in 2014, because there's no truth to it. So I think that the media should actually assist us to actually change this narrative which people are wanting to create, that of course this government must fall because it is no more the government of the people. It is a government of the people. The fact that it is voted for by the majority of the people of South Africa. So the president has a right to convene a joint session, which means to convene both the National Assembly and the NCOP and address them. Through us, the president will be addressing the nation. Through us, the president will outline the vision for 2017, the vision informed by the African National Congress.
Many people would argue that the image alone goes against the principle of an open and an accessible Parliament, and that the image of an increased presence outside deters people from coming to Parliament to partake in this occasion, and that the mere presence goes against that principle.
What image are we referring to? What image are we referring to? Because here within the parliamentary precinct you don't see soldiers. On the outer perimeter fence of Parliament you don't see soldiers. What you know is that there's been a request for 440 soldiers to deploy in support of the police. And I'm saying to you, those soldiers are on standby in the event the police, right, are overwhelmed by whatever. And look, one of the things which we need to talk about is the fact that whatever operation is launched by the police or by whoever, it is always intelligence driven, right? So if you feel that there is an increase in the numbers of people deployed, it's probably informed by that information which we may be having at our disposal. But it is not true that we are deploying in Parliament. As you can see, you've been here since 5 o'clock. You've been interviewing various people. You've not seen the soldiers here securing Parliament because Parliament has its own security. You've seen the police because police are here. It is part of their responsibility. But the South African National Defence Force within the precincts of Parliament, it is not true. Even on the outer perimeter fence, you won't see them. And I wish the media could actually help us to explain this to the people. The President has a right to deploy. Once there's a request made by the Minister of Police that can President deploy in support of the police, then the President issues a directive, we prepare a minute and it's done. Nothing wrong with that. It is done every year. It is done all the time when we have big events. And of course, precisely because of the freedoms we fought for, there's transparency. And because there's transparency, now you know that there is a request to have 440 soldiers on standby. You wouldn't have known were it not for the oversight systems or mechanisms which we've put in place to make sure that we scrutinize what the forces are doing, we scrutinize what the South African National Defence Force is doing, so that people feel safe in South Africa.
Thank you very much, Defence Minister Nosiviwe Mapisa-Nqakula, there being frank in her assessment of the President's statement, saying that 441 soldiers have been deployed for the State of the Nation address. She says that they are not here, they are not outside the gates of Parliament, but merely on standby in case or in the event that the South African Police Services requires their assistance.